What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some of my craziest battles of the season so far with the full Shadow Rhyhorn evolution line, since I think someone requested it in my Machop video, and of course all three of these Pokemon got a buff this season with Mud Slap. Now let me tell you, the ground and rock typing really don't complement each other well, as they're weak to ground, fighting, ice, steel, and double weak to both water and grass. So aside from maybe steel, those are all super common offensive typings. So as you can imagine, there are so many things that can completely core break this team. Yeah, I was able to overcome Pokemon like Dugong, Serperior, Jumpluff, Kanto Marowak, and many other Pokemon that should just completely run through the team, and yet I was still able to beat them in this video. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Which full evolution line would you like to see me running in the Go Battle League in the future? Let me know in the comment section down below, but with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, Shadow Rhyhorn into Alola Marowak. So this is a pretty good lead matchup for us. I'm running Rhyhorn in the lead just because I feel like it's probably the least useful one, but it does at least get to Horn Attack fairly quickly, and opponents probably won't know the moveset. I'm going to go and try to commit to a Mud Slap farm down, but I realise I'm not quite getting there in time, so we fire off a Horn Attack. Even though it's double resisted from that range, it definitely gets the KO, but in comes a Jumpluff, and this is absolutely awful. But I'm going to try and capitalise on the fact that the opponent might not know the moveset there, so they do end up shielding a Horn Attack, which honestly would not do much damage whatsoever. We also don't throw the next Horn Attack there just because we want to try and force them to throw their energy. If they just go for a full farm down there, then we are absolutely screwed. There's literally nothing we can do. But since they've already seen Horn Attack and us baiting, we are now going to fully commit to the Stone Edge, and I need this to land. This is the only move that's going to deal any damage, and it does connect. It does huge damage. And at this point, I've actually put them into triple resisted Mud Slap farm down range, so I'm going to commit to that farm down. They do drop my defense, but that's okay. They come in with a Clodsire, so I'm just going to bank a ton of energy, essentially forcing them to full send an Earthquake straight away, and they do exactly that. And now we can reach back-to-back Surfs. And by the way, I completely forgot until like 5 or 6 battles in that Surf did obviously get an energy nerf this season. It does do more damage, I believe, but it also costs slightly more energy, but it doesn't really matter. We take out the Clodsire, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there into next battle. See Dugong in the lead, so absolutely awful for us. Just going to stay in once again. I'm going to fire off the Horn Attack if I can on CMP here, and the opponent might not know the moveset here. We are a rock type, so they're probably just going to play it safe and use a shield, and they do exactly that. Now they go for an Icy Wind, that doesn't get the KO, so we swap into our Rhyperior, and we would make it to a superpower on the CMP type, but if they do of course shield, I'm going to drop my defense, so I didn't really want to do that, but they then come in with Annihilate, and this is just absolutely awful. Of course, energy generation going to be slightly worse this season with that counter from Annihilate, but still not great for us when we are triple weak to the fighting typing, and of course the ice typing, which we've already seen in Dugong. But either way, we do drop their attack by one stage. Gonna come in with the Rhydon, and I'm not certain if I can go for a full Mud Slap farm down. Gonna assess the situation here, and I wasn't confident in it, so I tried to swap, catch the move, but the opponent also tries to swap and catch a move. We're gonna commit to the full Mud Slap farm down. We've got very little HP remaining, but we do win CMP up against the Annihilate. Surf gets the KO, and they've got Salazzle in the back, literally the perfect Pokemon for us to take down there, as a Surf gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to a trainer there into the next battle, and this was actually the first battle I did with this team, and I was just like, what on earth is this luck, man? Going up against Lurantis, I'm going to shield here. I basically didn't want to throw straight away just in case the opponent does throw on alignment and give me an extra Mud Slap in for free, because of course they will actually just barely outpace me to the charge moves with Fury Cutter and Leaf Blade, so definitely not ideal. You're going to see also Horn Attack. It's going to grab both shields from the opponent, but they do overfarm quite significantly here. So my opponent actually did a really good job of not really allowing me to know how much energy they had there, because they did overfarm by quite a sort of random amount here. And unfortunately, Leaf Blade is going to grab my final shield, but they're already at another Leaf Blade, so Leaf Blade easily gets the one shot. I would have been fully swept by Lurantis there, but the opponent swaps out into Dugong, doesn't matter. They outpace me to the charge move, and of course Icy Wind gets the KO. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to the trainer there, that is how some of the battles did unfortunately go, just nothing we can do whatsoever. But into next battle, a much better lead matchup for us. Of course, I'm going to resist everything, so I'm going to no shield here. The opponent goes for a flame charge, fine with me. Now I'm actually going to go for one mud slap and then fire off the horn attack, just because that way I can guarantee getting off 2 charge moves, where if I threw on perfect timing, which would have been after 3 mud slaps, I then risk a CMP tie, and I've got no clue who wins CMP in this matchup. But either way, we make it to another horn attack anyways, and horn attack from this range doesn't get the KO yet. And by the way, if you don't know, Horn Attack is basically just a much worse Body Slam. Even though Body Slam has been nerfed, Horn Attack still does, I think, 10 less damage for the same energy. But the opponent comes in with a Ferrothorn, and this is great to align it to my Rhyperia, as we can full send the Superpower. Superpower doesn't quite get the one-shot there, but that's okay. We're going to let Rhyperia go down, come in with the Rhydon, and they've got a Drapion in the back. So you can see the Mud Slap damage absolutely chunking. Gonna shield in case it's the Aquatail. They actually go for Crunch first there, maybe trying to drop my defense there and guarantee an Aquatail would get the KO, but either way we outpace them to the Surf, getting the KO, and we Mud Slap farm down the Ferrothorn to take that game. So GG's to the trainer there. Into next battle, see a defense form Deoxys. So this is definitely not ideal for us, but again, counter has been nerfed, so they're going to be slightly slower to make it to those charge moves. We're going to fire off the horn attack once again, hoping the opponent might just use their shield, not knowing what to expect, and they do use their shield. I'm also thinking here, they might just go for a Rock Slide or a Thunderbolt there, not wanting to debuff their attack with a Psycho Boost, and that's exactly what they do. So I'm going to swap out now, bank the energy. We are going to see another Rock Slide coming through, as they still don't want to drop their attack, but it doesn't matter as we now outpace them to the Surf. Surf gets the KO, but they've got a Trevenant in the back, and this is absolutely awful for us. We do make it to another Surf, and Surf will do some decent damage despite being resisted. Actually, it will put them into Mud Slap farm down range, but I will need to make a catch, because Rhyperia unfortunately will not be living a Seed Bomb. So the opponent throws here after, I believe, 3 Shadow Claws, so I can go for 2 more or 1 more fast move, go for the charge move here, and then I believe they are at another Seed Bomb right now, so I'm going to swap into my Rhyhorn. I tried to go for a Horn Attack as well there, but it doesn't really matter. Seed Bomb gets the KO, but unfortunately they've also got a Azumarill in the back. There's nothing we can do here. Bubble gets a very easy farm down up against Rhyperia, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to the trainer there. Into the next battle, we're going to see a Safe Swap into Golisopod. Another Pokemon that's going to be very difficult for us to deal with. If I was running Smackdown on my Rhyperia, then maybe I'd just swap into that. But unfortunately, since Smackdown did get nerfed, I figured I might as well just go triple Mud Slap here. And we're going to come in with the Rhyperia. If they full send the Liquidation, I think I will just go for a full farm down here. And they do go for Liquidation once again. So I'm able to get a huge Mud Slap farm down there. The opponent is going to wait out the Switch Clock, come back in with the Fortress, and we are going to fire off the Superpower. Superpower going to do big damage there. I'm then going to swap just in case they're running like Mirror Shot there, but they come in with a Toxapex and things are looking pretty good for us. I'm just going to full send the Stone Edge here, maybe a little bit overkill. I could have just settled for the Surf there, but either way, we grab a shield from the opponent. At this point, gonna let the Brine take us out there, come in with the Rhyperia, going straight for the Breaking Swipe. Doesn't really matter if we debuff their attack or not. We grab the final shield from the opponent, and we're actually gonna make a very risky play here. Basically, I wasn't certain if Breaking Swipe would get the KO. I predict they're gonna swap back into the Fortress, and they do exactly that. So we fire off the Breaking Swipe straight away, getting the KO, and I'm able to make it to another charge move up against the Toxapex. Doesn't matter what I throw. I go for Superpower for the BM just for the sake of it, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that trainer there. Into next battle, going to see the opponent Safe Swaps into Obstagoon after leading with a Nidoqueen. So very interesting team, a little bit outdated, I would say. This kind of team worked very well like 5 seasons ago, but not so much anymore now that both Nidoqueen and now Obstagoon have been nerfed. But either way, not going to do very well up against it, as we are, of course, weak to counter. But, of course, these are non-stab counters. They've not wow, I can't even talk. They've not revealed Cross Chop yet, so I actually no-shield that, but they do have a Azumarill in the back. So, honestly, not looking good for us. We make it to a Surf. Surf is resisted damage. It really doesn't do much there, but I mean, we kind of need that damage anyways. Gonna come in with the Rhyperia here, and of course, I'm gonna have to shield, but I actually miss a full Mud Slap in there as they throw the charge move, and that will be costly here, because you're gonna see I do farm up as much as I can, throw the charge move as late as possible here, and Superpower doesn't quite get the KO there because, of course, we missed that Mud Slap. And whilst, yes, of course, we got very low HP, we are going to double resist the Poison Jab damage. I think I might have just barely made it to a Bulldoze up against the Nidoqueen there, and I could have won that game, but unfortunately, because we missed the Mud Slap, we just don't get the chance to see that. I mean, they might have farmed me down, they possibly would have farmed me down there, but either way, I'm never going to know, so it's very disappointing. But either way, into next battle, we're going to see a Licky in the lead now. I'm going to go for the Horn attack here, figuring they might shield since I farmed up a ton of energy, but actually, I'm wrong. They don't shield that, so unfortunately, even a second Horn attack will not get the KO here, so I'm actually going to lose the zero shield scenario, which I guess doesn't really matter. We've got 3 of the same Pokemon, so switch advantage doesn't really matter, but maybe having a slight energy advantage would be quite helpful. And you're going to see actually in this battle, we're going to go for the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe is going to grab a shield, and it does actually drop their attack, which will allow me to make it to a Superpower as well. So we are going to commit to the Superpower, and we do get there. The opponent once again throwing, so actually they're going to waste all of their energy here. Superpower grabs the final shield. At this point, of course, going to let the Rhyperior go down. They go for the Bone Club, that gets the KO, and they swap immediately into Clefable, and this is fine with me because, of course, it still would have been very difficult to take out the Marowak there, but now I can just shield this up. They do bait with a Swift, sorry, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to farm up to 1 away from back-to-back Surfs. Surf gets the KO, 1 more Mud Slap, and we make it to Surf number 2, and of course, hitting for super effective damage, it will be taken out the Marowak, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's Turtle Trainer there. Into next battle, we're going to see a Shadow Machamp in the lead. So obviously not great there, but of course, Karate Chop's dealing a lot less damage than Counter would be, so I'm not too bothered by this. I'm going to shield up the first charge move, go for 1 more Mud Slap, go for the Horn attack here, and basically the opponent will have to throw pretty much straight away if they want to get rid of us, and they do throw just straight away here, so this is fine with me. Cross Chop gets the KO. We can come in with Rhyperior, get the Mud Slap farm down, and let's see what the opponent has. They're going to come in with a Dugong, so definitely not ideal. I'm going straight for Superpower here, and then I will be swapping into my Rhydon. So Superpower grabs the shield from the opponent. Bit unfortunate there, definitely would have preferred to land it, but either way, going to shield this up as the opponent goes for the Icy Wind. I will make it to a Stone Edge here, but the opponent swaps into a Bastiodon, and actually, that Icy Wind dropping my attack is going to be costly here, because now we can't just go for 1 Surf and go for a full farm down. I'm going to have to fire off another Charge Move, and this is really unfortunate because it means I won't actually make it to a Stone Edge up against the Dugong coming back in, so we're going to swap out there, bank the Surf. I was hoping maybe the opponent would try and commit to a full farm down here, but they don't. They fire off the Icy Wind. We can fire off a Surf here, but it's resisted damage. It does do more damage this season, but it's not enough damage to take out the Dugong, and unfortunately we do lose that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into next battle, we see a Talonflame in the lead once again. So once again, just going to let the first move go through. I'm going to never throw that Horn attack before they throw their first charge move, as the more we overfarm here, the more likely they're going to shield the first charge move here, as we are a rock type. They've probably never seen a Rhyhorn in action, so unless actually, if they watched the old King IV when he used to do like 75 unique shadow Pokemon, he used to always get swept by a Rhyhorn on day 1 of the season, like without fail, and it was so funny to see. But either way, if you've not seen that, you've probably never seen Rhyhorn in action, although actually I think Oxford U might have done like a triple Rhyhorn team as well, but you're very unlikely to have seen one, is what I'm trying to say. And they come in with Serperior, we actually do land the Superpower, and then the opponent swaps out of that matchup for some reason into Ariados. We are full sending the Stone Edge, and we get the one shot. I don't know why they didn't shield that. They're going for the farm down, but it's too late here, because we can go for a resisted Mud Slap farm down up against Serperior, and we're able to take out the Grass type there to take that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we're going to see a Golurk in the lead. So obviously not great for us. They are going to overfarm here, basically just committing to the full Mud Slap farm down. And despite being double resisted, Horn attack does grab the shield there, as once again the opponent just doesn't know the moveset. We are going to come in with the Rhydon, going to shield up the Shadow Punch. They do have another Shadow Punch already banked, so that's definitely not ideal for us. I probably would have preferred if they just threw it straight away, but they bank it for later. We go for the Stone Edge. That actually doesn't quite get the KO there, which is very frustrating. They can go for a Shadow Ball. We do live that, but I'm going to swap immediately into my Rhyhorn, and they've got Dunsparce in the back. So double rollout users in the back here. Unfortunately, Drill Run gonna hit for super effective damage. We go for Breaking Swipe, and we do actually drop their attack. So I should live a Drill Run here, but they're gonna make it to back-to-back charge moves anyway. So definitely not ideal. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown here just because I will now live a Drill Run, and obviously they've still got Golurk in the back. So I've got to be careful of that. They probably will just swap out into Golurk there. As you can see, my switch clock just barely wasn't up in time, but it doesn't really matter anyways, as yeah, we have to go for the Mudslap farm down. They take us out there. They still had the Dunsparce in the back, so unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to the opponent there. Into next battle, another Talonflame in the lead. So I will say I did see quite a lot of Talonflame in the lead, which is quite fortunate for us, but I also did see a lot of teams that had both like an Azumarill and a Grass type on their team, so that also didn't help. And I also randomly did not see a single Feraligatr when I was playing this team, which you might think, oh, that's pretty lucky because of course that's a water type, but it is actually one of the water types that I'd be a lot more comfortable up against because of course we take neutral damage from the Shadow Claws. It's not like a Azumarill, for example, where those bubbles are basically just going to fully fast move farm us down. And Feraligatr is fairly squishy, so the Mudslap damage definitely would add up over time. But either way, we're going to come in with the Rhyhorn here, and honestly, I probably should shield this, but I'm going to no shield, and the opponent goes to the Shadow Ball. It does some pretty decent damage there. We do come out with a Charge Move loaded, so if they come back in with the Talonflame, I'm gonna throw straight away here. And of course, Breaking Swipe from this range would get the KO, so the opponent shields that up there, gonna fire off the Charge Move. We also drop their attack once again, so I was very unfortunate with the Scorching Sands debuffs the other day, but Breaking Swipe does seem to be working very well for us here, as we are dropping the attack fairly frequently. At this point, I realized I've actually only got one Pokemon left essentially, so might as well start using my shields, even though that was a debuff resisted charge move. This will just allow us to fire off the Stone Edge, taking out the Guzzlord, we get the Mudslap farm down up against the Talonflame, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into next battle, we see Shadow Quagsire in the lead, so of course this is not great, but they will be slightly slower to make it to the charge moves this season, so I am still going to get outpaced to a Bulldoze unfortunately, so going to shield this up here. I realise they go for Mud Bomb, even so, I will not make it to back-to-back Horn attacks in time, so we just full send the Bulldoze, and it actually gets the KO, but they've got a Shadow Venusaur, so unfortunately they will be able to fully Vine Whip farm me down there. So we swap into our Rhydon, and unfortunately, there's just not a lot we can do here, but we're going to come in with the Shadow Rhyhorn. Hopefully we can Mudslap farm them down before they make it to back-to-back charge moves, but they're actually going to swap out into a Shadow Ursaring, and look at the damage from those Mudslaps, honestly dealing huge damage here. They go for Swift, we are going to farm to back-to-back charge moves here, but I think they're already at another Swift, so definitely not ideal for us. I could have swapped here, but actually going to fire off the charge move anyways. And then let's see what happens here. The opponent is going to double shield. We still get the Mudslap farm down, and unfortunately for us, yeah, that's just not ideal there. The opponent played that well there because they realized they could actually just farm us down here. They do farm us down, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we see Shadow Drapion in the lead, so a great lead for us. Although, of course, if they are running Aquatail, then not going to be super amazing for us. But the opponent's going to swap into Gallade, so not Grass-type Pokemon, but of course, Leaf Blade will be one-shotting the entire team, so a little bit awkward here, but we're going to shield anyways. They go for the Leaf Blade. We can go for one extra Mudslap, fire off the Horn attack, and if the opponent does throw straight away here, then we should be fine, as we will put them into range where actually we can just Mudslap farm them down with any of my Pokemon in the back, assuming that they don't get the new mechanic or damage registration error. So let's see, they are far away from the next charge move, and we do get that Mudslap farm down, which is very nice. The opponent comes back in with their Shadow Drapion. I'm going to shield this, could be an Aquatail, and again, they're actually running Crunch there, so probably Crunch and Sludge Bomb. I don't know if that's the recommended moveset this season, but I didn't see either Drapion that I faced today with Aquatail, so I mean, maybe that's just convenient for me because, of course, Aquatail will do a lot of damage up against my team. But either way, we can just fully sacrifice the Rhydon there, come out with back-to-back charge moves, so Breaking Swipe will get the KO up against Unova Stunfisk, and we've got a superpower loaded to throw immediately into Shadow Drapion, coming back in, getting the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.